What is up? What is up? And the question for today is, did we learn anything from Chet Holmgren's standout performance in his Summer League debut? Should we overreact, or was it just a great game against a bad Summer League team? I share my thoughts. Stay tuned. Yo, what is up? What is up? You are listening to the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast, which is your daily NBA Draft podcast. I'm Rafael Barlowe, the director of scouting for NBA Big Board and the founder of NBA Draft Junkies. I'm excited. I got a lot to be excited for. I head off to Summer League tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And this Summer League is going to be a little bit different. It's the first time in a while that I actually have an NBA scouting credential. Or I don't even know. Maybe it's a media credential. I don't know. Either way, I know that I have a credential. I remember maybe like 10 years ago, I used to swap credentials with friends, and that's how I got in. And then the last few years, I was paying, and I think it's like $40 a day. And that was adding up between the flight, the hotel, and all of that. So this year, I'm fortunate enough to where I had enough points to where I get to fly to Vegas for only $11. Shout out American Airlines. We'll see based off everything that's going on if I actually get there. And then had a friend who's going to let me stay at his house because he's out of town. And then I got a credential. So I'm actually going to Las Vegas for the Summer League, and I'm not spending any money out of my pocket. So that is a major blessing because Vegas can get expensive. But I won't be there too long. I'll just be there probably from Thursday until Monday morning because I have a little one on the way. Don't want to be too far away from home because if my little one wasn't on the way, I'd probably be in Malaga at the under-17 tournament. But let's talk about Summer League. And you can't talk about Summer League without mentioning the performance that Chet Holmgren had last night. But first, shout out to each and every person that has made this NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. And we have a title sponsor. Your title sponsor for today is Arcade 1-Up. And Arcade 1-Up is partnering with Locked On to give 3 free NBA Jam Shack machines. You heard that right. 3 free NBA Jam Shack machines. These are the guys that are known for making incredible retro 3/4 scale at-home arcade games like Pac-Man, Golden Tee, and many more. Enter to win on arcade1up.com/locked-on. That is arcade, the number 1, up.com/locked-on for your chance to win one of these NBA Jam Shack machines. All right, let's get into Chet Holmgren. Now, I am on the record. I would say I wasn't high on Chet. I think I was up and down. At the beginning of the year, I had Chet as the number 1 player on my big board. And then I had Banchero ahead of him. And then on my latest big board, I had Banchero number 1, Jaden Ivey 2, Jabari 3. I had Chet as low as 4. Definitely against the consensus, not one of the... Definitely against the consensus. I just put it like that. So, Chet was one of the guys that, even if I had him number 1 on my big board, he was one of the guys that I was really looking forward to seeing in Summer League just because I wanted to see how he looked in an NBA setting. And I've never had any doubts about his skill level. But one of the biggest question marks that I had was, how does he create his own shot? Is he a guy that you can just say, hey, go get me a bucket? So that was one of my biggest knocks on him all throughout the process. In one game, one early Summer League game, it wasn't Vegas Summer League, but one Summer League game may have changed my overall thought process on Chet Holmgren. He showed some stuff in the game versus the Jazz that we didn't see at Gonzaga. And now it starts to make me wonder, was Gonzaga holding him back a little bit? I mean, he showed flashes, so it's not like it's caught me totally off guard. But the player that we saw versus Utah was a totally different player than we saw at Gonzaga. And if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan or even a Chet Holmgren fan, you have to be super pleased. I mean, let me just give you these numbers. Yesterday, in 23 minutes, he had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 6 blocks, 7 for 9 shooting, 4 for 6 from 3, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He could not have had a better professional debut, even though, again, it is preseason. But he could not have had a better debut. He showed the ability to score in transition, and that was something that we did see at Gonzaga. And I had mentioned in previous podcasts that the half-court shooting numbers were a little bit concerning, and he did most of his damage shooting threes as from bringing the ball up court in transition or as a trailer. And he showed that ability in the game yesterday. But it was the shots off the dribble. He had some tough shots. I put it like that. I was definitely impressed by Chet's performance. Now, even though, I mean, we all have a tendency to overreact in Summer League, whether it's good or bad. I remember a couple years ago, Trae Young had a bad Summer League, and I was like, see, he's too small. He's not going to get the same freedom he had at Oklahoma. That was my, initial thoughts. And then, obviously, Trae Young is a superstar. But then we've seen guys that just really, really stand out and shine in Summer League, and it doesn't necessarily translate to the NBA. So, again, we do have a tendency to overreact in Summer League, but, man, you cannot help but be impressed by what Chet did. I mean, it was created off the dribble. He had tough shots. He was knocking down threes. He was blocking shots. Saw a play where he blocked Kofi Coburn's shot, and Kofi outweighs him by 100 pounds. Like, you know how crazy that sounds? That you got two professional basketball players, not football, but two professional basketball players that are sharing the court, and they play similar front court positions, and there is a 100-pound difference. I can't imagine another time where that happened, unless, maybe there were 200-pound centers when Shaq played a little bit. But then again, I think by the end of Shaq's career, he was like 350. So that could definitely be possible. But Chet, again, showed everything. Created off the dribble. He just showed a different skill set. It makes me wonder, was Gonzaga really, really holding him back? Because the offense was obviously ran through Drew Timme, and Chet was more so a guy that kind of scored off dump-offs, vertical lobs, and creating his own shot in transition as far as like getting a rebound. I knew he could pass. That was something that I knew. I did a video earlier in the season breaking down his passing. But again, Chet Holmgren, he has definitely kind of raised the bar in a sense, because Paolo and Jabari Smith people are going to be watching them. And especially Banchero, because Banchero went number 1 overall. People are going to be watching them to see what they do in their debut. It's going to be tough to have a better debut than what Chet had. But that's why I'm looking forward to going to Vegas, going to Summer League. Banchero versus Jabari, if I'm not mistaken, that is like the headliner for Thursday's game. So I will be in the building for that. But yeah, once again, Chet Holmgren debut. If you have some thoughts about that, reach out to me, Barlowe500 on Twitter, BARLOWE500, and let me know, do you think that was just a great game against a very, very bad Utah Summer League team? Well, maybe I shouldn't say they were a bad Summer League team, but that team was short on major names. It wasn't one of the teams that I would say people are going to be very interested in watching in Vegas. So do you think it was, a great performance, or do you think slow down? Do not overreact to one Summer League game. But like I said, again, it was crazy impressive. All right, when I return, I have a few other players that I want to talk about, and some that played in the California Classic that have a little bit more, I guess they have a better sample size. But let me talk to you again about the big news. Boom, shaka laka. NBA Jam is back. Arcade 1-Up, the leader in at-home retro arcade games, is not only bringing you the best game ever, but they're bringing it back to you, and they've made it bigger and better with a Shaq Edition machine. People are obsessed with the NBA Jam game, and I'm thrilled to tell our listeners that you can once again play hoops with the NBA legends in this arcade classic. Remember, you could jump clear across the court. You could set the ball on fire. There were no fouls. And this was one of the first games ever that featured real digitized NBA licensed teams. Again, no fouls, no free throws, and you don't even need quarters. You can compete with friends and family in the all-new Wi-Fi leaderboards, making you more connected than ever. Pre-order right now at arcade1up.com. That is arcade, the number 1, up.com for an estimated early September ship date. Arcade One is the place for fun. They've got even more classics like Golden Tee, Mortal Kombat, and others starting at just $3.99. So check it out. They are giving away the NBA Jam Shaq Edition to a Locked On listener. Enter for a chance to win a game console for your man cave at arcade1up.com. Locked On, that is arcade, the number 1, up.com/locked on. Now you have until July 8th to enter to win the NBA Jam Shaq Edition console. As of now, while I'm recording, it is July 6th. So you have until Friday. And all you have to do is enter to win. So don't miss out. Enter today. And then figure out which team you are going to play with in the process. All right. Once again, you are listening to the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe. And today I'm just going to talk about a few guys in the Summer League. Player that I want to discuss is someone that I've been high on for about a year now. I've done multiple podcasts talking about him. I've done videos, and it is Nicola Jovic. And so in my last episode that I did solo, I want to say it was Friday, I mentioned that I thought Jovic would struggle a little bit in the Summer League because he is so used to playing in structure, and Summer League is a little free-flowing. Guys really don't have a lot of time to practice. Sometimes guys may get in town, I don't know, 3 or 4 days before their first game, so they're kind of forced to learn on the fly, and it just kind of has like a, I don't want to say necessarily like an AAU feel to it, but it's almost like a test for guys to see how fast they can adapt to pro concepts, because in the NBA, you can be traded mid-season and have to suit up the next day. So it's kind of like, again, a test to see how fast guys adapt, see how well they know the systems and so on. It's not as easy as it sounds. So I felt like with Jovic, he's used to playing in this structure, that he was going to struggle a little bit. And he did have, some games where he struggled getting his shot off. Some may say that they thought he pounded the ball a little too much. But then in the game yesterday, he showed his full potential, even though on paper he played well. But I thought that there are some areas that he could have definitely made some improvements on. But overall, I thought that he played well. I mean, Miami played a Golden State team. They won by 24, so it was good numbers in a blowout. But Jovic posted 25 points and 9 rebounds on 9 of 16 shooting. But the biggest surprise, in a sense, was he shot 5 of 7 from 3. Now, that was kind of one of the knocks on him. Like, he's a guy that is super skilled, can do a little bit of everything. But one of the concerns was his three-point shot. It was a little flat. But overall, I mean, he was, as we say at the park, the shot looked wet yesterday. 5 of 7 from 3. And I've seen him shoot in person. And I will say he is a streaky shooter. Like, I saw him at the combine. The shot was up and down, but he did have, like, especially in the corners where he shot, like, I think at one point he made like 13 in a row. So if he can continue being a consistent shooter, then I think it opens everything up, and then he really becomes a weapon with his versatility. But just watching him, you could see the versatility, how well he moves at 6'11", how he handles the ball. At his size, he is a natural wing. He can post up a little bit. Had a little Dirk shot where he got the ball in the mid post, hit the one leg shot, a little one leg floater. The one leg jumper. That's something that he's had in his arsenal for years. But again, the shot looked good. He did struggle a little bit finishing at the rim. I think once he gets stronger, then he's gonna definitely become a much better finisher. But yeah, I felt like he looked really good. Now I can't expect him to make 5 out of 7 from 3 every night. But again, if he can continue to like knock down that 3 ball, then it's going to open everything up. And even though he didn't have any assists, he showed that he is a capable passer. But Miami has to be very, very pleased with his skill level. Another guy that I thought has had his moments is Gui Santos from Brazil. And I mentioned it in the previous podcast, and I'll give you a Cliff Notes version. He is one of the guys that I really, really wanted to watch play live this past season. I had not been to Brazil. It is the last continent left on my list outside of Antarctica to go watch basketball. So I was really looking for a reason to go, and it was on my schedule to go, but then I found out that my wife was pregnant, and so I had to go back and forth between Europe and the States while she went back home to go to doctor's appointments. So as you can imagine, flying to the United States from Europe once a month, it adds up, and it can get a little expensive. So I missed the opportunity to watch him play live. But overall in the Summer League, I thought that he showed that he is someone that has potential to really be an NBA rotation player with his size, his passing, very comfortable playing in the pick and roll. And I thought he really made a good name for himself. He is someone that I think that he may make their roster, but I think if he spends the year playing in the G League, then I think that he's going to really make a name for himself. But overall, I mean, he's been playing great. 14 points, 3 rebounds, about 3 assists per game. Someone that I was high on, but I think, the Warriors, you can say it's early. I don't want to, again, overreact, but he looked like one of the better players in the California Classic. All right, next, got to talk about Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray has been, he's had some really good games. Then he had some games where he struggled. But overall in the California Classic Summer League, he's averaging 19.7 points, 8 rebounds per game. He had a game where he had 24 points. His debut was strong. I think he had 26 points in his debut. He is the guy that I expected him to be. Someone that scores, maybe not flashy, beats you on straight line drives, can finish around the rim, can knock down open shots. Not a guy that's going to wow you with a bunch of highlights, not like crazy step back, spin moves, but he just puts the ball in the basket. He's effective. I think that he is going to be first team all rookie. He's NBA ready. And I had mentioned it on the previous podcast. I don't know why I just keep going back and referring to previous podcasts, but I guess when I do 5 a week, I have a lot of podcast content to talk about. But it's funny because his brother Chris, I think, is one of the top returning NBA prospects in college basketball next season. And I wonder if Keegan's success or lack of success plays a role in Chris's NBA draft stock. Of course, Chris is going to have to do his thing on the basketball court in college. But I think if he has a good year and then Keegan has a great year, I'd have to think that would help out his draft stock. Talking about Chris, Keegan's brother. But Keegan Murray has been, like I said, he's been very good. He's also someone that I'm going to pay close attention to in the Las Vegas Summer League because, I think that he is one of the better players and he could be one of the top 5 rookies as far as, this class, which he was a top 5 pick. So, that's not really saying anything outside of, expectations in a sense. But again, he's someone that I'm going to pay close attention to while I am in Las Vegas. All right, I have another set of rookies that I want to talk about, but got to let you know about Sakara. And feeling your best starts with what you eat. And Sakara helps you live a healthy, balanced lifestyle while truly enjoying it. They have delicious, plant-rich, transformational, nutritional meals that help build a foundation for living in your best body. It is time for you, yes, you the listener, to seek wellness, joy, and abundance in all areas of your life. And it can start with what you eat. With Sakara, you get nutrient-dense meals, snacks, and supplements that nourish your body. And the key thing is you do not have to sacrifice taste or quality. And looking your best and feeling your best shouldn't mean deprivation. Instead, choose joy and abundance with Sakara's organic, plant-rich, again, transformational nutrition programs that are designed to help you cultivate body intelligence so you can nourish your body and experience the results that you want. Sakara is a wellness company anchored in food as medicine and is on a mission to nourish your body through the power of plants. And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off of their first order when they go to sakara.com/lockedon20. enter the code LOCKEDON20 at checkout. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/LOCKEDON20, and you will get 20% off your next order. Sakara.com/LOCKEDON20. All right, once again, this is Rafael Barlowe, the director of scouting for NBA Big Board, and I'm just here to talk about Summer League. All right, so I'm going to just fast forward to Vegas. No knock on the Salt Lake City Summer League. I know there's some good players playing there, but I am looking forward to Vegas because opening night in the Las Vegas Summer League, I guess it's called the NBA 2K23 Summer League now, the Houston Rockets and the Orlando Magic face off. That is Paolo Banchero versus Jabari Smith. The NBA they're genius as far as how they are marketing Summer League. I remember years ago, it was like a high school game in a sense. You would go to Summer League, it's like 80 people in the crowd, maybe moms, a couple girlfriends, and NBA scouts. And I tell people all the time, I think it was just 10 years ago, 2012, which I guess is a pretty long time ago. I went to Damian Lillard's Summer League debut, and I sat by Paul Allen and Neil O'Shea. Like, they were sitting right by me. Like, it was at the Thomas & Mack. It wasn't even at the Cox Pavilion. It was at Thomas & Mack. And I was able to walk all the way down and sit on the second row. Like, I didn't sit courtside, but they had, the row that was like right behind courtside. I sat there, a couple seats down. I mean, you could literally just sit there. You could interact with, GMs, coaches, players. It was so easy. It was literally like going to a closed door high school event, even though it was, available for the public. Now it's totally changed. I mean, it's I mean, there's more people at some Summer League games than you see at some NBA games. Maybe not in Utah and the crowd at the California Classic, but in Vegas, especially if the Lakers are playing, if the Lakers are Clippers, or the Lakers and the Kings, you can get a pretty good crowd there. So it changed a whole lot. So fast forward. So now what the NBA has done, and I could be wrong here, I want to say it started with the Lonzo Ball year. So I think that was 2017. They start with these marquee matchups to just bring attention to the Summer League. The NBA has just done an excellent job of literally making NBA basketball year-round. The Summer League is a major event now. The games are on TV, and you just can't beat the NBA marketing. And obviously, they know what they're doing because they had this marquee matchup on Thursday where you have Paolo Banchero, who was the number one pick, going against Jabari Smith, who was the third pick, but most of the world thought he was going to be the first player selected by Orlando. I don't think that there is a rivalry there, but I could see the media creating this rivalry because, rivalries sell. Like, I'm sure the NBA wants another Magic versus Bird or, LeBron versus KD. If they can create a little rivalry with Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero, it's better for the game. I think there was a little small one brewing with Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham last year. So once again, I think the NBA has done a great job marketing Summer League. So I will be at that game on Thursday. It is the only game from Las Vegas. But then on Friday, you have a few other good matchups. You got Shaedon Sharpe going against Jaden Ivey. That is the first game in the morning there. Well, it's morning in Vegas, but it wouldn't be morning anywhere in the States. And there's a few other games that I think are going to be good that I'll be looking forward to. So if you are going to be at the Las Vegas Summer League, hit me up. You can hit me on Twitter, Barlowe500, BARLOWE 500. I'll only be there for the weekend, but I would love to catch up and meet some of the listeners and just kind of talk basketball, shoot the breeze. And I know I mention it often. Shout out to all the listeners. Thank you for making the NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. I know I say that often, but I really, truly mean it. So I would love to catch up and just put a face to the listener. So once again, reach out to me, Barlowe500 on Twitter. Hit me on my DMs. My DMs are open. And maybe we can meet up at the Cox Pavilion. We can meet in the hallway or whatever. So hit me up. Well, once again, thank you for listening to my podcast. I really, really appreciate it. And Thank you again for making the NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. Now, for your second listen, you can get up to date with all the latest news and rumors in the NBA in just 30 minutes every day with the Locked On NBA Podcast. The Locked On NBA Podcast is your daily NBA update, and it is in just 30 minutes. Once again, it's Rafael Barlowe. I am out. Hope to see you in Vegas. Peace.